Strap in for a roller coaster ride where curiosity, humor, laughter, and the odd case of wisdom is applied to understanding the adventure of life.
Welcome to the Rawle Gene Show, the power of coaching, guided by two knuckleheads who invite you to sit in the front car with them on this ride.
Trust us, it's not as serious as it sounds.
And high fives are included. Hey everybody, welcome to the Rawle Gene Show, episode 16, powered by two knuckleheads who love talking about coaching and getting through the shit.
One of those knuckleheads look like a psycho in that last piece. Trust me, it's not that serious.
It will sound incredible on the podcast. On the video, though, we may have to reshoot that. I'm just saying.
Well, you can add just the audio in the video as the intro.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. It's like.
Why so serious, Rawle? Why so serious?
Red rum. Red rum. Some of the younger listeners may not understand that reference. How you doing?
I'm doing well. There he is, Mr. Neil, commenting. Happy Friday, guys. You weren't here last Friday, Neil. It didn't feel the same without you. Yeah.
Where were you,
Neil? Get your priorities straight. 11 o'clock
you brought
Friday.
Season's ticket, Neil.
Neil, we are well. Thank you for joining us.
One of us is well. Anyway.
One of us is well, and one of us is Rawle. Oh, see what I did there?
Wow. Really?
It feels like one of those episodes.
We're going there.
We started off going
you
there,
said
right?
It. Anyway, how you doing, man? What's going on?
I'm doing very Rawle today. Very Rawle.
That's interesting.
Wow, the day's been off to a great start. Great morning of exercise, and then we spent like the last hour and a half really holding ourselves to building commitments around what we're going to do with Peel Back and our coaching and group shows. And I think this week has been, I'll use the word enlightening. I usually strip that word even out of our writing. Is like we've realized we were overthinking and trying to get too smart with a lot of the stuff we were doing and put way too much on our plates. Yeah. And none of it was like, why are we doing this?
Why? And it wasn't really producing the results we wanted. So,
and if we're being honest, though, I think this is the big honesty that we both held ourselves accountable for. Is like, were we really putting the effort in to make that many moving pieces successful?
Yeah,
we weren't.
Well, we weren't, and then life threw us some things in our personal lives, and all it always does. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just don't think whether we had clarity on what we wanted to do, or whether we were playing small, or whatever it was, it wasn't working.
No,
not the way we wanted it. And it's not that it just wasn't working. It wasn't feeling right.
Yeah.
Right. So, that's why today's show, when you're talking about the art of reevaluating your path, it's not so much reevaluating the path as reevaluating the practice and what we're doing. My attitude of the path is, from the moment I escape the wound, I've been on the path. And even before I came out of the wound, from the moment the sperm and the egg touched,
you were on a path. You were immediately on the path.
I was on the path, and the path consists of good, bad, ugly, and beautiful. But when bad and ugly comes up, we're always, I need to reevaluate the path, and no, the path is set.
Yeah.
What you have to evaluate is what you're doing. Is it producing the results you want? And it wasn't producing the results we wanted. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we created this show was to be honest with you, to attract people that were looking for coaching. Right? Why? We're two really good coaches. Right?
Yeah.
I have no shame in saying that. I'm a good coach. This is what I was blessed to do. I was brought in this world to help coach. It's not the only thing. So we created this vehicle to attract clients. We created this vehicle to promote our me, the me I don't see. And we did some great things, but it still wasn't where we wanted it to be. And you're right, we weren't putting in the effort because I think we were just too scattered,
Yeah.
trying to make things fine or grandeur or whatever, and then life threw us some
Life threw us some life, and
life threw us some life fastballs, and you got to deal with that. So it was just like, well, what are we doing?
right.
What are we doing? And I wasn't enjoying it the way I thought I would. I enjoyed the show, but the other components, it's not like it was unpleasant. It's just when you're in the flow, when you're doing what you're meant
Oh,
to.
100%. And like, I hear you say the good, bad, beautiful, and ugly.
Mhm.
And after life threw us some life on both of our fronts, I don't even think we were experiencing good, bad, beautiful, and ugly. I think we were experiencing the meh,
Yeah,
and we're like,
yeah,
what, like meh, like what's going on here?
yeah.
And feeling the meh is actually super fucking important. I think
Yes,
acknowledging the meh of our lives is powerful, because it's like we're kind of in like the no person's land. Like, we're in the gap between the good, beautiful, and ugly,
yeah,
going, shit, we don't really feel anything about this stuff. And it's not like, and I don't mean that from the coaching like from
yeah.
working with our clients. Like Rawle says, we've had some incredible successes. It's like the delivery and the methods we were trying to put
There you go.
into
That's what I'm saying.
doing that was the and it wasn't resonating. We're like, oh, this is what other people are doing. Maybe we should be doing this. And the one thing that gets lost so much, especially in the world of building things, being an entrepreneur, being a leader, doing this in your family, doing it in your business, is like, if you're not having fun with it, if there's not a component of fun and enjoyment, all is lost, because this shit is hard. Doing personal leadership in your life, in your business, and growing things is hard. And if you can't have fun with it, you're not going to really, it's going to be a challenge to come back to it again and again and
It's going to be
again.
a challenge, or you'll do it, but you'll do it with a lot of animosity and so forth. And not one time did we get to that point. I mean, I did not ever not love the show, or even what we were doing. It's just like, when in the times we spent this week talking, it's just like, why are we making this complicated?
Yeah.
And someday, it's like, like not just personal coaching, even in when I was coaching football, a lot of coaches will do stuff right up, if you're fortunate to get to the championship game. And then when they get to the championship game, they want to change everything that got them to the championship game. Right? So we outcoach ourselves, or we outthink ourselves. And it's not that you shouldn't change and adapt, but what are you changing and adapting to? And it's not that you and I needed to change and adapt. You and I, for some reason, unspokenly, thought we had to make this more complicated, building the me I don't see, and what are we putting into it, and well, we need to put this in. No, that's not what we do.
No.
We will do it, but what we do is really outlining how we do it, and holding ourselves accountable, and holding our clients accountable. When I was putting you through your coaching stuff, it's not like I had a bunch of workshops and stuff set up and go, okay, Gene, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
I trusted the moment. I trusted you knew what you needed to work on. My job was to sometimes pull it out of you and to get it out of you.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah. And being able to, the funny thing about the me that I don't see title is like, we weren't seeing ourselves in that. Like, the me's that we didn't see going into it. Did we build a cool assessment tool? We didn't have a cool assessment tool before. We do now. Like, it's a great tool. Like, and we've used it, and people have gone through it and have gotten really great insights into themselves from their loved ones and from their connections. We didn't have. I'm excited about that.
But that's the tool we're going to use.
Yeah, it's one of the many tools that we continue now to use in our practice.
But it's funny, we built it.
Yeah.
And then, like, we're almost ready to shelf it.
Yeah.
Because, okay, what next? No, that's it.
that was
We
it.
just need to use that.
Yeah.
We're the ones that are going to look. Everyone knows what's blocking them. Do they have the courage to admit it? That's a different story. And that's so yeah, that was a great blessing that came out of that.
Yeah.
We created a tool that we didn't have that really is of value.
Yeah.
We just now need to use it. We don't need to change it. If it does need to be tidied here and there, we'll do that. But
Yeah, it'll evolve over time, and I think that's
yeah,
like that was a word that came out of our conversations this week is like this evolution. It's like we had to start somewhere.
yeah,
And because if we don't have a start, well then we never have like the improved component. We had the new. We nailed the new.
yeah.
And now we're continuing to improve and asking ourselves, what does it mean to be in this and building, peel back together and what we're going to be, launching and how we're going to continue to use this podcast and refine it over. I'm hoping we get to do this for years to come, but I'm happy to be on episode 16 of this show with
Well,
you
yeah,
just today in this moment. We get to meet each other right here, but like what will happen next and how do we want to be in the next? And I think that's that place that we've really started to bring some awareness back into it, is like you can do all the things, but if you aren't finding the good, the bad, the good, the bad, the beautiful and ugly, like take that as your indication. Is like, am I in the because
well,
we've got too much value to stay in the
well, we were in the muck, and you're not supposed to stay in the muck. You experience it, but then you work your way through it. And
Yeah.
us working the way through it, we realize we're not going to play small. We don't keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Right. And trust our experience, trust what we know, trust the training that we've gone through, trust the life experiences that we have. The role of a coach, and when I think of a coach, and it's not whether you're working with people, coaching them in life or whatever, or even if you're running a team, it's all the same thing. And the job of a coach is to have that vision, set the vision, but then have a plan and how you're going to do it. We've got all those things.
Oh, yeah.
We just now need to do it, implement it, and stop overthinking it. Stop looking for reasons to block ourselves. Because that's what it always comes down to. Why are you blocking yourself? Roadblocks show up all the time, but roadblocks show up not to keep other people out, to show you how badly do you want what you say you want.
It's fun. I hear you saying this, Rawle, and I've got like our new marketing piece for Peel Back up on my other screen here, and you more or less paraphrased our subline is like, start turning obstacles into stepping stones for the life lived to its fullest. Is like, we are literally in it with you on our own journeys, showing that it is our conversation today is to show that it's okay to go, shit, we're in the muck. Oh, okay, we got to get back up onto these stepping stones. And part of turning them into stepping stones is the movement on them. Because if you stay on one too long, you're going to fall off and you're going to hit the water again. And it's not going to be fun, because then you got to pull yourself back up and exert the energy to get the momentum built to stay back up on those stepping stones.
But to me, this is all part of the stepping stone. One of the reasons we're having this show is this is our show of transparency, where we are. We put it out, the me I don't see, and it's like, okay, what's going on with it? Well, this is what's been going on.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, oh, we just want to be transparent and accountable, this is us showing you. We just came off of a call where we spent time in setting our weeks on what we're going to do for this next month. We set a target goal of what we want for this company and what Dean and I both want. And we redefine the simplicity of what we are. We want to help people while building community through coaching, through one-on-one coaching, through groups, seminars, webinars, whatever it is. But that's what we really want. And it's not like we moved away from it, but we're starting to make it more complicated than it needed to be. And so we've been in the muck. We realized, okay, life's always going to throw stuff. Then why are we complicating it more than it needed to be?
Yeah.
And that was the issue. We were complicating it more than it needed to be. So now we've scaled back. I think now we've gotten a good focus again. We've made a commitment to each other. We're going to spend twice a week working together, because I'm a type of person, I love doing stuff in a collaboration. When I was coaching football, I was always looking for ways to have shared experiences, because shared experiences strengthens bonds and ties and so forth. So, that's the nature of this show today. This is not just us talking transparency. This is what we've been going through.
Yeah.
We've been dealing with life, but we've also been dealing with ourselves. And I'm not going to speak for you, but for me, why was I playing small? What was it? Why was I looking to make this more complicated? I keep saying playing small because I was complicating it and thinking we needed to do more. And even when I was building the mastermind or the workshop, it's like, okay, I got to put this in again. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, so Rawle's question to himself is, why was he playing small? Mine, man, you know what? It's safer. And we talked about certainty and safety in one of our latest episodes. And like, there's a safeness to it, but I think I will actually lean more towards it's certain. Be like, I'm certain when I'm playing small what can be done and what can't be done, and how am I not going to expose myself to risk and judgments of others, and be like, we're all human. We're all going through it, and all that shit, like we said in that previous episode, is perfectly human to experience, but not to be the thing that sticks to us. We can have those feelings and then question them. And part of, one of my processes is like, we acknowledge it, we accept it, and then we pour love into it.
Yeah.
So if there's that place of being small, like, what is it? Be like, oh, well, I bring it back to a younger version of myself going, is it okay to be seen? Is it okay to be like that weird, wild little kid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baby, it is. Like, that's
Yeah.
actually what's needed. Is like, when we talk to this, is like, what's one of the purposes that I got into coaching was like, I realized I'm an instigator and I love stirring shit up, because it lights the fire up in my clients and it lights the fire up in people around me. Is like, the more I bring out that fun, that connected, and just a bit of a wildling, is like, good things happen.
Yeah. And all those things are true. And I think also one of the reasons why there was a money component, I think there was still fear around asking for what we want, asking for what we're worth. And I think those are things that we had to work through together. Look, that's the beauty of coaching. A lot of times when people hire a coach or a therapist or a psychologist or whatever label you want to use, they think once whatever work they've done with that coach or that person, whatever issues, challenges they have goes away. Whatever fears they have goes away.
No.
If you haven't figured this out, I'll tell it to you. It never goes away.
No.
What happens is you learn how to deal with it when it shows up, because it's going to keep showing up.
Yeah.
And the stronger you get with yourself internally, and the more you continue to do your internal work, you'll notice those challenges don't come as often as they used to, but they never stop. They never stop showing up. You just now know how to deal with it. You just now know, I am not going to react, I'm going to respond to it. And sometimes the best way to respond to it is to go, you're not true, go away.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like,
give into it. It's not to ignore it, because I think a lot of times that's what really kicks people in the butt. Well, I've done the internal work and da-da-da. Why is it still so hard? That's life.
You're still human, and you're still having a human experience, and you're going to go through these things, and they're going to continue. Different iterations of it is going to come up.
Always.
And Rawle nailed it earlier by saying, this isn't about like getting through that one specific thing. It's like building the model about how are you going to get through it when it shows up again with a different face, with a different message, and going, oh, what's happening below my neck? Oh, I know how I believe in myself. I trust myself the most to deal with this.
Well, and
I will figure it out. And working with like a coach is the ability to say, hey, we as coaches are going to be like standing up at that lighthouse that you described, going, making sure the light is on, that you see it and that you're not just fixated, stuck on the rocks, getting over it to the lighthouse. Is like,
One of the reasons you have a coach, or you should invite people if you're struggling with anything, is to have someone that can be objective with you, that's not emotionally tied. That's one of the reasons, I don't coach family members. I don't coach really, really close friends. Like, I can go back to coaching Gina. We've become too close of friends. So now I've emotionally invested.
yeah,
It's not like I'm not emotionally invested in my clients, but it's different. So, this is why when you get a coach, you hire, I showed Gina a great clip from a movie called Facing the Giants that I used to use in my coaching or when I was teaching at Cato with my students. And, it showed what a coach really does. A coach inspires, a coach sets the vision, a coach talks about the plan, but then a coach knows when to pull out his or her spiritual foot and put it up your ass when need be. When need be. And we've gotten soft. This is why so many damn people are always been getting triggered today, because why? We don't want to accept the reality of life. Life can be hard at times, but the hard, usually we're the ones making it hard because of our perceptions and how we see things. So it's important to have someone that you can count on that's going to hold you accountable. Because if you're paying someone, you're paying them not to necessarily always just be nice. And when I say not nice, it's not that they're going to berate you or call you names or put you down. But when we talk about holding someone accountable, what does that mean? To me, it's no different than if I tell you I love you, and then I see you doing something that's detrimental to you, and I say nothing. How do I love you? How do I love you? Only love you when it's pleasant?
Only when it's good?
Only when it's good? I'm going to coach you only when things are good? The job of a coach is to actually help you when things hit the fan.
Well, I think Neil said it well. It's like, his response to what it means to get coaching is like, it's having the awareness when something comes up and having the tools to navigate it. Is like, that's it.
Yeah. And we're just a tool. So, like I said, this today's show is us being transparent and letting you know where we were and where we are now. And I really like where we've landed, and coming out of the muck, feeling more energized and ready to really attack and to stop playing small. And to be honest, they're ready to ask. So we're gonna come knocking. We're gonna come knocking hard. Right? We're gonna come knocking hard. And one of the things we want to do is we want the show to explode. We want the show to blow up. So, we spent some time in talking about the show and what do we want to put in it and what do we want to do, because we created this show, and when Gene and I, for years knew we were going to do something, we just didn't know what it was. And we created, I think, a really good vehicle that has a lot of good potential. And yeah, we're two knuckleheads talking, but we can't do this without people like Neil. So we're going to call on our people in our village to support this. If you value what we do and you really do value it, then we're going to ask you to support it with tuning in, with watching, with clicking to like it, or to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to help Peel Back become the organization we want it to, so we can truly help people building community while coaching. And in particularly in the madness of the world right now and the stuff that's to come, we have a lot of harshness to come from an economic standpoint, also from a social standpoint. This is the time for people. I always say, in these types of really hard, challenging times, these times of discomfort, this is the time when you should engage someone, get your house in order, and figure out what it is that you're holding on to that's stopping you. What are the roadblocks that you are putting up, or the life is putting up, that's stopping you? Because as I said before, it's not there to stop you. It's actually there to show you how badly do you want what you say you want.
Yeah.
How badly
do you want? It's a checkpoint.
It is a checkpoint.
It's not
this out.
No. It's like the troll standing in front of the bridge going, you got to pay the toll if you want to go across here. And at first, that troll can be incredibly off-putting.
Yeah.
And then when you realize, oh, it's mandatory, it's required, and it's actually serving me, going, if you're not ready to pay the toll,
Yeah.
you don't do this. You're not ready for it. But if you're willing to pay that toll, off to the bridge you go.
And so many people are missing that in life. It's like, oh, why do we have to work so hard, and why do we have to do this, and where else in nature do you see the madness that people are positioning? Where do you see that in nature? Where do you see animals not working? Where?
Yeah.
Right? We've gotten soft. And it's time for us to get right with ourselves. It's not necessarily getting right with Gene. I needed to get right with me so I can walk what I talk and not just talk it.
Yeah.
This is why accountability and transparency in those words now have almost mean nothing, because we've heard people saying them now for a decade now, and not many following through on it.
Yeah. Well, like we can, my positioning around that, it's like, fuck society. What are you doing? Right? Like, like, can it knock it off? Oh, this is like, what are you doing? How do you want to be the change you want to see in your life? And what are you willing to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're willing to answer any of those as like, I want to see some change in my life and I don't know what to do about it yet, great, let's get wild. And every step of that way is going to unlock something for you. And it's like, are you ready to have the unlock? It's going to be shocking. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you will find new ways of navigating your world and state, as long as you're willing to cross that bridge.
What's that quote that I have a quote that I made about myself. Anyway, it goes, how's it go again? I am evolution, therefore I am always evolving.
Mm.
We are always evolving. This is what I believe. You're not looking for another path. There's only one path that you're on. But that path consists of the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful.
Yeah.
Just like when you get to, and there are times in your life where you feel that you've gotten to a crossroad, right? And you have two options being presented to you, two paths that you feel that you should, that the universe is saying, pick one. And a lot of times people get stuck at the crossroads because they're trying to, you can only see so much of one path. You see very little. It's like driving at night. You can only see 200 yards at a time. So we're always looking, which path is the best? Which path has the least? What you haven't figured out is both paths have the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. Yeah. Pick one and go.
And guess what? You can always make new choices every step.
Yeah. When you pick one, forget about the other one. Because that one doesn't apply anymore, because that's not the choice you made. Because a lot of times people will pick one, but then sit there and look what I missed out on. You didn't miss out on anything, because that opportunity was not for you. You chose this one. Yeah. So, I don't know. I could have lost my mind, but I just, that's why, when you use the word muck, I love being in the muck, because it gave me the opportunity to reset as well. We always need to reset at times, and to remember what's truly valuable to you. What do you truly want to do? I love doing what I love working with you. I love the opportunity to help people. Right? And I love building community. I think I did a fairly good job when I was in Kelowna doing that. Well, let's continue doing it. And we're doing it under Peel Back, Rawle Gene, and we're going to ask you to help us take this show to the next level. We're asking you now to support this. So we're going to, go out into our circles and ask people, if you got time on a Friday, come in and join us, and or watch it on the replay. And then when we release the podcast of it, to support that. And to support whatever the madness that we have, that obviously that resonates with you.
100%.
But, if you're truly looking for guidance and coaching, I don't know if I really help anyone more so than just guide, but whatever word you want. We're two guys here that both have a deep desire to help uplift our human consciousness, one person at a time. Yeah. No,
all those individual pieces make a stronger whole.
I think so. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and within that is like a big part of what we're building is recognizing and acknowledging the power of community.
I think it's how you change the world. Change the world by changing yourself, and then changing those in you, and not so much changing, issuing an invitation now by who you are now, for them to do the same.
It comes back down to the statement of it's caught, not taught.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're going to be the change you want to see in the world, guess what?
Yeah.
Other people are going to catch that and go, huh, what's happening there?
It all starts with you, man. And just like, I was saying earlier, and I was saying to someone else earlier, no one can make you feel anything. You're either reacting or responding to what people do, but no one can make you feel anything. Right?
I think
that, to me, that's the cornerstone of when we talk about personal leadership.
Yeah.
Complete ownership of you and what you do. Not that the outside world won't affect you, but even the outside world affecting you, you still have an option of how you choose to either react or respond to it.
You're kind of segueing into our news section of the coaching tip of the week.
The coaching tip of the week. Yeah. You'll notice that, the show is changing. Right?
We're evolving because we are evolution.
We are evolving.
So this new section is where we used to have something called The Exposed, which was a place where we would read we were doing poetry and like journaling around topics and things along those lines as a way of expression. We're going to use a different vehicle for that down the road. We haven't figured out exactly what that's going to be, but to tie this more into the actual power of coaching is we're creating this now section called the coaching tip of the week. And so the question that Rawle posed here is, for our tip of the week is, when faced with challenges or someone speaks ill of you, ask, is there truth in what you are facing? If there is truth, why are you getting triggered? If there's no truth, why are you getting triggered? You're in charge of your state, defeated or learning. Look at it with all your tools, reasoning, logic, and emotion, and don't just act from that initial response from within. Personal leadership is a set of choices you get to make every moment you meet.
And that's the tip.
Yeah,
being triggered. Being triggered. We don't ever stop to think, is there truth in what someone might be saying? Something you don't like what they're saying, but just because you don't like it doesn't mean there isn't truth in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's truth in it, why are you getting triggered? Yeah. Why are you allowing it to stoke those emotions in you that will basically get you to react?
Yeah, it's like when you feel that triggering, it's like, ooh, can you practice the art of personal leadership and point curiosity at that, right? Like that's that learner mind is like a question I love asking myself and my clients is like, well, what's the 10% truth here?
Mm-hmm.
What's the 10% truth? Like it, and then sitting with that and going, I'm going to have to own some of this.
Yeah.
Maybe what they said or what you've experienced is not your fault, but like handling it and learning to navigate it, that's your responsibility.
And it always is.
Yep. And coming back to that place of like, in our modern workforce, is like emails will. So, for example, an email will trigger you just as much as being chased by that saber-toothed tiger. It is your responsibility to help train yourself and de-escalate that and to use it appropriately. Because if you are being chased by a tiger, run. If you're getting an email that is like, I didn't like that, don't let that sit.
And you just said a key word, de-escalate. De-escalate. It's not getting triggered is wrong. If you're getting triggered, can you stop and go, whoa? In the 7 habits, in the very first habit of being proactive, the habit of choice, it talks about encountering stimuli in the world, outside stimuli. And every stimuli, every event requires something from you. So when something happens, do you have the ability to go, whoa, why is this happening? Why did I create this? What is this? What is this situation, this event, this person, whatever they're saying is asking of me? So can you step out of the emotions of it look at it differently by exercising and using all of your skills and your tools, your
Mhm.
logic, your reason, your experience, your training, your everything,
All of
not
it.
just emotions. It's not that emotions are wrong,
No.
but that's just one aspect of your tool. So can you step out of it and go, why am I getting triggered? Particularly when what that person is saying, there's truth in it. I may not like the truth. I may not like what they're saying. I don't like the sound of it, but that does not negate the truth. The truth does not require whether you accept it or not. It's still going to be the truth.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting triggered, then that's on me because there's truth in it. Okay, I don't like it. All right, fair enough. I don't like it, but I have to accept it because there's truth in what they're saying. And if there's no truth in what is being said or being done, why are you getting triggered?
Be good
So
with you,
be good
right?
with you.
Be good with you. Be like, there's a power to saying, hey, you're not at my table anymore. But I wish for you to find the table that is right for
Yes.
you, but you're not at mine anymore.
You're not in mine anymore. And I'm not going to give in to that. And the other thing is, don't beat yourself up for getting triggered. I mean, we're emotional beings. But do you have the ability to be in charge of your feelings and your emotions? When we talk about emotional and intelligence, it's not about emotional intelligence. It's about emotional mastery. It's
I would
always
that step
mastering.
that step before mastery is emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Can you
Who's in,
regulate this?
who's in charge? Who is in charge? If you are, then act like that.
Yeah.
Act that way. Because, you know, process. Life is about process. When we talk about
Yeah.
patriarchal and all this nonsense, it's just about systems of process. We're human beings. We're part of nature. Look at nature. Nature operates with systems. I look at life this way. I believe, I trust, I know, then I do.
Mm.
When you start to believe in yourself, your true self, not just the ultra self, not just the hurt child self, the victim self, that serves a purpose.
Mhm.
But once you continue to do that internal work, you really start believing in the power that you are. You start really to trust it. Once you believe it, then you start trusting it. So then you start trusting what you believe. But then that's not enough.
Yeah.
Now you got to really know it. Do you know and trust what you believe? But then that's not enough. Because you hear a lot of people go, I know, I know. Do you know of it? Or do you really know it? Because if you know it, then you do.
Yeah.
So it's believe, trust, know, then do. You can't just leave it at, oh, I know. Because I know it's like intentions.
Oh.
Great intention. Gina and I had a great intention with the show and the Me I Don't See. And we kind of got stuck at no because we're both intelligent with big brains, thinking we know. So let's build
We tried to
complicated.
think our way through this.
Try to
That was I knew there was something we were doing. We were getting
we
stuck in.
forgot to really do. And it's not that we forgot to do, but we just kind of got
we
stuck
got
in
stuck
it.
in the knowing.
We got stuck in the know and trying to complicate it and make it bigger than it needed to be and all this stuff. But I'm really glad we went through that process because it really tightened up what we believe and what we know, and it reaffirmed our commitment to wanting to help individuals and build community through coaching.
That process of energy that we went through, it is allowing us to express with clarity now.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our ultimate goal, was to be able to express ourselves with clarity. And we had to be in the muck to be able to clean ourselves off.
Yeah.
And we're going to be in the muck again.
Oh.
But it's in the effort and the direction of, can we express ourselves clearly? And all this podcast, our writing, and everything else that we're continuing to do is in the effort of that. And as we kind of draw to the end of our show today,
I wanted to say this before we go because
Yeah.
when you look at the title of the embracing the fluidity and the art of reevaluating. So one thing we realized, the path is set, the path is good. We just needed to reevaluate the practice. and that's what it came down to. So yeah, it's been more than a good week. This whole adventure has been a good adventure, and it continues to yield. And this is why it's important to stay open. You stay open with yourself. You stay open from here. I truly believe let the love, let this I always point to the human mechanism, but to me it symbolizes more the love, the spirit that we are. Let this guide this now. Once you say you know, part of doing the work is bringing this into here, because this can go anywhere. Bringing it into here to be balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Not about one over the other. It's now, can I be balanced? I need both tools, but this is in charge. This is the conductor of the orchestra. All right. So, anyway.
Great place to leave us, my friend. All right. And to everybody else, thank you so much for watching the Rawle Gene Show, The Power of Coaching. We are just two knuckleheads that are putting on a show about the importance in our world of what we do, which is helping people building community through coaching. And until next week, I'm Gene. That's Rawle. And we'll see you on episode 17.
Love you all.
Oh, one last thing. It's the legal language. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals.